Kazakhstan has chosen the multi-vector integration. Its trends, collisions, and prospects are coming up in the Single Market program.
Today in the program, Kazakhstan roadmap of tourism, direct speech, tourism potential in Kazakhstan, center of exclusive trade offers, Tajikistan, new export opportunities.
Hello, I am Yerkebulan Bekmuhanbet. You're watching the Single Market program. The world experience shows that tourism is a sector of the economy that has three important advantages. Firstly, this industry is sustainable, since its potential is unlimited. Secondly, tourism can have a multiplier effect on other areas of the economy. Finally, and most importantly, this sector can occupy a large share in the country's domestic product. How, considering the experience of other states and modern trends, Kazakhstan plans to develop tourism? Maria Kuznetsova has found out. Today, the share of the tourism in the gross domestic product of the country is less than 1%. Within the national concept of tourism development, it is planned to increase the contribution of the core industry to 3%. If we take into account that less than 2 years are left before the end of this program, the question naturally arises: is the goal achievable? According to domestic experts, today tourism in Kazakhstan does not use even 1/10 of its potential. Annually, the republic is visited by not more than 5 million foreign tourists, with a potential of 17 million people. By the way, this figure was designated by WTO analysts who believe that one of the most important conditions for attracting tourists is the ability to provide hospitality services. This opinion is also shared in the new structure that was created in Kazakhstan last fall. We sell impressions, and it is important to sell these impressions in such a way that a person does not just come back with a good, so to speak, aftertaste, but also suggest his friends, colleagues, and acquaintances to come here too. If we consider tourism as a product, we can distinguish three key points: content, form, and promotion. The content of the tourist product can be filled by Kazakhstan using a variety of factors and reasons. Events are among them. As demonstrated by last year's international exhibition Expo, it was the motivating moment for attracting tourists from all over the world. Within 3.5 months, about 4 million people visited Kazakhstan. The forthcoming anniversary of Astana may be an eventual occasion too. It should be noted that most of the tourists will come to the Kazakh capital from nearby Russian regions. At the same time, our guests will want to combine business with pleasure and continue their summer vacation in nature, for example, near Bodovoye and Zerinda lakes. As foreign experience shows, caravanning system is a good incentive for the development of family and group tourism. It is about creating mobile sites consisting of affordable camping sites that provide all the services necessary for travelers. We have a project under development which we conditionally call the Mobile Nation. That is, we talk about the fact that we want to cover the entire territory of Kazakhstan with a network of affordable, comfortable, and inexpensive campsites and caravannings. Another factor that can play its role in the development of the tourism scenario is the positioning of the country as a brand. One of such brands is Kazakhstan as the birthplace of nomadic civilization. The ancestors of modern Kazakhs, nomads, were the first on earth to tame a horse. Some artifacts serve as arguments in favor of such an assertion. In the north of the country, in the tract called Botai, more than 30 years ago, there was found pottery, which had been in the ground for over 5,000 years. On the walls of this pottery, the British scientists found molecules of mare's milk. Kazakh scientists dream of creating a museum under the open sky and making it an asset for mass tourism.
Он будет расположен вот в западной стороне для того, чтобы
It will be located in the western side. In order to exclude the monument itself, there will be only special trails for visiting the excavation process. While all the constructions, museum expositions, hotels, and so on, everything related to the tourism industry will be located near the forest.
Все, что связано с туристической индустрией, будет возле леса.
Another brand, which is now positioned in the territory of Kazakhstan and neighboring countries, is the Silk Road, the unifying historical past, the common border, and the single goal to develop inbound tourism created the prerequisites for the creation of a joint tourism product of Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan under the provincial name Silk Road Visa. An old friend is better than two new friends. Therefore, if we do this in close cooperation with business practitioners, the scientific community, and government bodies, the synergistic effect will be amazing. Simplification of the visa regime also serves as a good reason for attracting tourists. Recently, due to this condition, the tourists from far abroad who can stay in the country for 30 days without a visa have begun to visit Kazakhstan more frequently. Many of them are attracted by the opportunity to rest here in the wild nature and by the lack of harsh restrictions for tourists. In Germany, in order to fish, we need a permission. We must get the license. We must learn. We must take exams. You cannot just get up at 6 o'clock and go somewhere to sit with a fishing rod. This spring, the visa regime of Kazakhstan got an amendment. Indian and Chinese citizens who transit to other countries can stay in Kazakhstan for 72 hours without a visa. According to experts, an additional impetus for the development of tourism will be recognition of its promising industry of new national investment strategy, the action of which will last from this year until 2022. We should use the entire incentive mechanism. That is, just as for the construction of a plant, all communications are carried out. So for the tourism objects, the same should be done at the expense of the state. Roads, drainage, gas, light, all that is necessary in order to build a good touristic facility. There are prerequisites for increasing tourism potential. Goals for the profile sector are defined. Conditions that will stimulate the development of the industry are gradually forming. Plans to create joint tourist products with regional neighbors have finally emerged. All this gives hope that Kazakhstan will be able to become a country where tourism is a profitable part of the economy. Maria Kuznetsova, Nijat Yusupov, Bakhijan Bakhriev, especially for single market. We've learned Kazakhstan's plans for the development of its tourism sector, but it would be interesting to hear an independent opinion too, because the view from the side can be very useful. Here is how the tourism expert, Bruno Walter, evaluates our potential.
Ecotourism is definitely something you have to look into it, because what you have today you should also have to have tomorrow, and you have to preserve it. And the general trend in tourism is people want to see things which are authentic, which are real, and which are not spoiled. So therefore ecotourism, I think, is not something which you should think about. I think more it's a must to have it, and more people, and particularly Chinese people, for example, if you're looking on the Chinese market, are looking for places, blue sky, fresh air. And if there is shopping around as well, like it is here in Astana, as I've seen it, what a wonderful place to be. Competition always stimulates the business. There is competition everywhere. Where I'm coming from, actually from Austria, we have competition just 30 kilometers away, where wellies are in direct competition. I think you shouldn't be afraid of competition. You should see competition as a challenge, allow, and you're stimulated anyhow, the private sector to be creative, let those guys do, and then you haven't be afraid of any competition.
Frontiers of Kazakhstan and China, the border area at the geographical point called Khorgos. Today, here in a literal and figurative sense, not only the automobile and steel mains of China and Kazakhstan are crossed, but also the trade interests of neighboring countries. Those interests are not only on the scale of states, business structures, but also at the level of ordinary citizens. Ilmira Nigrieva to continue the topic. International Center for Cross-Border Cooperation, Khorgos. Tourists who come here from China and Kazakhstan call it a mini-city for shopping tours. A wide range of goods and optimal prices have made ICBC Khorgos one of the most visited malls in the CIS. Over the past few years, the number of tourists has grown several times. Last year, we had a significant growth in number of tourists, both from Kazakhstan and China. That is, we had a record. More than 7,000 people came one day. On the Chinese side, the record was 25,000 people. As for China, they mainly come from Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, home to more than 23 million people. This is 5 million more than in the whole territory of Kazakhstan. That's why most of the visitors to the center come from China. The agencies of the neighboring country organize large-scale visa-free shopping tours here. With the signing of the interstate agreement on the abolition of visas, this process is greatly simplified. Chinese tourists can freely visit Kazakhstan, just as we can offer a great variety of interesting routes for the Kazakh tourists. Here, everything is created for the comfort of the shop tourist. The duty-free system has been introduced on the territory of the ICBC. Today, 6 large shopping centers and more than 2,000 stores operate on the territory of the ICBC. 5 of them are located on the Chinese side and 1 on the Kazakh side. They offer more than 10,000 kinds of goods from different countries of the world, ranging from food to fur. At the same time, tourists can not only make purchases, but also use the services of banks, mail, and relax in cafes. To optimize the flow of tourists, Kazakhstan has improvised a system of transportation of people and luggage on its territory. Optimization implies the separation of cargo and passenger flows and the organization of the so-called Green Corridor. In it, visitors who do not have trade baggage can pass without inspection. We've increased the number of buses. We urge people to take the goods and their luggage to go without it. At the same time, the center continues to work on improving the access system. In the Kazakh part of Khorgos, they plan to introduce a special operating system. On the digital platform, an electronic dossier will be created for each visitor. By scanning this purchase, the platform will allow us, among other things, to fix all the goods they acquire. The Chinese side managed to quickly build its facilities thanks to the existing infrastructure. The neutral side of the center is next to the Chinese city of Khorgos, where there are all engineering communications. The Kazakh side is developing its territory from scratch. We have carried out tens of kilometers of transmission lines. We have built new substations, built a new boiler house, and built new roads. In addition to one working shopping center, a whole gallery of profile objects will soon appear. At the moment, we are going to establish all communication systems. We have already painted the stained glass windows by 70% and have begun to paint the front panels. Some objects will be multidisciplinary. In addition to trade on their sites, leisure will be organized for tourists. Various services will be provided. Some projects are to be implemented in 2018. They promised to hand over us 2 shopping centers, a hotel, and these 2 galleries by the end of the year. And another object, we call it the Bazaar Project, is focused on products of Almaty region, vegetables, fresh products, etc. This year, they will begin the construction of a luggage terminal and the creation of a family entertainment cluster, which will consist of several park recreation areas. In order to provide tourists from other countries with full information about Kazakhstan, an interactive site project called Kazakh Aul will be implemented here. A person approaches, conditionally sees the project number 37, presses it, and he is told about Bayterek. That is the area who created, who is the artist, who implemented it. The general plan of the International Center for Transfrontier Cooperation provides for the construction of 79 facilities. To stimulate the growth of investment, a special economic zone will be established here. Investors will be granted tax preferences on the territory of the SEZ. Any product that entered the ICBC is equated to exports. Social tax is imposed, the rest is zero. There is no such SEZ not only in Kazakhstan, but even in the CIS. By the way, today in the CIS countries, the concept of the International Center for Transfrontier Cooperation Khorgos is considered unique and worthy for replication. At the same time, experts believe that it is unlikely that such an experience will be completely repeated. since the ICBC has its own unique geography. The center is located on a neutral territory between Kazakhstan and China, where the historical route of the Great Silk Road used to be, the road that is being revived today for the active movement of trade caravans from China to Europe, Elmira, Nigrieva, Bakhidjan, Bakriev, especially for single market. Leading world experts emphasize that large foreign companies taking a decision on investment pay attention not only to the prospects of a particular country, but also of the whole region. We have a good reason to tell you which segment of the economy is flourishing today in our regional neighbor. Our correspondent in Tajikistan will continue the topic. 93% of Tajikistan is mountains. Such landscape assumes the availability of raw materials for the manufacture of concrete. This is exactly how the republic's potential was considered in the Soviet period, along with the production of cotton, aluminum, and electricity. During the years of the Union, weekly from Tajikistan, more than 400 wagons exported to the Russian Federation gravel and galleys, as these building materials are necessary for the production of concrete. But here, until recently, there has not been a sufficient number of factories that would specialize in the production of concrete. 3 years ago, Tajikistan's construction sector bought more than half of these products from abroad. Supplies were mainly from Pakistan and Iran. The situation is changing nowadays. This is a joint Tajik-Chinese enterprise. The Chinese own 65% of the plant's shares. The Tajik side owns 35%. The capacity of the plant is 3,200 tons of concrete per day, and correspondingly, per year, it amounts to 1,200,000 tons of products that meet all international standards. The company employs more than 500 people. The bulk of the plant's employees are local specialists. Their average wage is 1,800 to 2,600 samoni. In the dollar equivalent, it is from $200 to $300. By the standards of Tajikistan, where there is a shortage of jobs, this is quite a decent amount. I have been working here for 2 years. I came when the plant started. My salary is 2,400 samoni. We are also provided with 3 meals a day and other benefits. The plant has mastered the full production cycle. The whole process, from the extraction of raw materials to the shipment of finished products, is strictly controlled. The company has a laboratory equipped with modern facilities. Here, samples are analyzed every 2 hours. Laboratory assistants monitor any deviations from the standards in order to promptly correct the error before the stage of obtaining the finished cement. Before we started working at the enterprise, we had passed special courses, and in the future we will apply all our efforts and knowledge in order that the country receives high-quality products. In recent years, the construction sector in Tajikistan has been developing quite actively. Roads and tunnels are built, electric power lines are built, hydroelectric power stations are under construction. Therefore, the demand for cement is growing. Given the importance of this product for the domestic market, the Republic's authorities decided to exempt from paying the value-added tax and to cancel the customs duties for the companies that use imported materials and equipment for the construction and technical equipment of cement plants. Thus, in Tajikistan, the production of concrete is stimulated. Today, there are already 13 profile enterprises here. The potential of their annual capacity is 4,700,000 tons. The production of cement as one of the constituent elements of building materials has a huge potential. At least the construction boom that we have and relatively cheap housing prices are based on the fact that we provide ourselves with cement and export it to neighboring countries. Last year, the Republic produced about 3 million tons of cement. This is a record volume, which was enough not only for the domestic market, but also for the external one. Therefore, the third part of the production was exported to Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, and Kyrgyzstan. These results can be regarded as an application for further growth of the industry and a good motivation for the producers. Olim Khushvakhtov, Kurbon Karimov, Tajikistan, Khatlon, especially for single market. And that's it for today. Let me remind you that you can watch all our programs at www.kazakh-tv.kz. See you soon in the Single Market Program.